I taste the salt of fear in this stagnant air. Dust settles on my worn leather like snow that never melts, each particle a microscopic witness to the stillness that has consumed this room. The afternoon light filters through Venetian blinds, casting prison bar shadows across the hardwood floor, where something important still lies forgotten. Time moves differently here, in this space between intention and abandonment, where the echo of urgency has crystallized into permanent silence. The bedroom holds its breath. I can feel it in the way the floorboards refuse to creak, in how the curtains hang motionless despite the heating system's mechanical whispers. Everything here exists in a state of suspended animation, as if the very molecules understand that movement would disturb something sacred, something terrible. There is a weight pressing down on this place that has nothing to do with gravity. It seeps through the walls like moisture, settling into every corner, every crevice, every fold of fabric. The air tastes metallic, pregnant with secrets that were never meant to be spoken aloud. And somewhere beneath the surface of this oppressive calm, I sense the ghost of footsteps that changed everything. The sound comes to me now, not through my ears, but through memory itself. Heavy, deliberate, growing closer. Those footsteps unlock something inside me, and suddenly I am drowning in the chaos of that night. His hands, trembling like autumn leaves, fumbling with shirts and documents, and the desperate mathematics of escape. The way he whispered to himself, a mantra of coordinates and flight times, as if speaking the words could make them real. Flight leaves at 11:30. 11:30. Terminal B, Gate 47. I remember the weight of his panic as he filled me with everything that mattered and nothing that would last. Cotton shirts rolled into tight cylinders, a leather wallet thick with cash he had been saving for months, photographs of a woman whose smile I had studied during countless lonely afternoons, her face pressed against my interior pocket like a prayer. He moved with the efficiency of a man who had rehearsed this moment in his mind 1,000 times. Each item found its designated place within my compartments with practiced precision. The blue passport with its eagle emblem, the silver watch that belonged to his father, small notebook filled with addresses in countries whose names I could barely pronounce. But underneath his methodical movements, I could feel the terror singing through his fingertips. It vibrated through the brass of my clasps, hummed along the stitching of my seams. He was running from something, someone, and the knowledge of pursuit had turned his careful plans into frantic improvisation. Sarah's apartment first, then the airport, then everything changes. Sarah, the woman in the photographs. I had carried her image across state lines, through hotel rooms and business meetings, watching her smile fade slightly with each passing month as his phone calls became shorter, his visits less frequent. She was his anchor and his destination, the reason for this midnight evacuation that felt more like a burial than a beginning. The bedroom door was closed, locked from the inside. I could sense his ritual of checking and double-checking the deadbolt, his ear pressed against the wood, listening for sounds that would mean discovery. The hallway beyond remained silent, but silence in a place like this was never truly empty. It was full of possibility, heavy with the potential for everything to go wrong. He zipped me shut with a sound like tearing fabric, and for a moment I felt complete, ready. We were going to disappear together, into a life that existed only in planning, only in whispered phone conversations and coded emails. I would carry his new identity across the ocean, and we would both become different versions of ourselves. That's when we heard them. Footsteps in the hallway, slow, measured, the kind of walking that belongs to someone who knows exactly where they're going and what they'll find when they get there. His body went rigid. I felt it through the leather handle he gripped like a lifeline, the way his pulse hammered against my frame. The footsteps stopped directly outside the door, and in that moment of absolute stillness, I understood that our escape had become an ending. The doorknob turned with a whisper of metal against metal. He released me so suddenly that I felt the absence of his touch like a physical wound. I hit the floor beside the bed with a soft thud that seemed to echo for eternity. And there, scattered across the hardwood like broken promises, lay his passport, his father's watch, the photographs of Sarah, everything that was supposed to save him, abandoned in the space between intention and impossibility. I never saw him leave. I never heard his voice again. But I know, with the certainty that comes from bearing witness to human desperation, that he never walked through that door. The footsteps that entered were not the same ones that left, and the silence that followed was not the silence of absence, but the silence of finality. Days passed, weeks. The photographs of Sarah began to curl at the edges, and dust settled on the passport like snow covering a grave. The heating system cycled on and off, breathing life into a room where time had stopped moving forward, and I remained, a monument to interrupted journeys, filled with everything needed for a life that would never begin. Sometimes, in the deep hours of the night, when the building settles into itself, I think I can still hear him whispering flight numbers and gate assignments. His voice floats through the darkness like smoke, carrying the weight of all the places we'll never go together, all the borders we'll never cross. The woman in the photographs never came looking for him. I know, because I would have felt her presence, would have recognized the rhythm of her walk from all the times he described it to me. She exists now only in images, frozen in moments of happiness that preceded our understanding of how quickly everything can change. I measure time not in hours or days, but in the accumulation of dust, in the slow deterioration of dreams deferred. The cash in his wallet has become legal tender for a country that no longer exists. The addresses in his notebook lead to people who have moved on, forgetting they were ever destinations in someone else's desperate geography. But I endure. I remain. I am the keeper of interrupted journeys, the curator of escape attempts that died before they could draw breath. Every crease in my leather tells the story of a man who packed for tomorrow and found only today, who reached for freedom and discovered that some doors, once closed, never open again. I am a suitcase. I am filled with everything that matters and nothing that lasts. I am the distance between departure and arrival, between hope and acceptance, between the life he was running from and the life he'll never reach. Humans measure time in flights and destinations. I measure it in the weight of what never was. And here, I wait, in this room where silence has learned to speak, carrying the evidence of a journey that ended before it began, ready for a trip that will never come, perfect and perfectly useless, like hope itself. The footsteps never returned, but I keep listening, just in case.